Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking it out if you're new. If you're new to this series, this is what I watch, read, and played, where, as the name implies, I tell you what I watch, read, and played, and give you maybe some suggestions, tell you what to watch, maybe what to avoid, what to read, play, all the above. So starting off with movies that I watched in February. February is a bit of a dry spell when it comes to movies, you know? A lot of the major studios don't put anything out in February because they're worried that it would flop at the box office. You know, people are just busy, and you might see that in how few movies I watch. I spent a good majority of February actually not watching movies, and so the first two movies I have on this list are because of friend of the channel Morgan M. Steele. We road trip together to go see Madam Web, and I spent the night at her place, and she forced me to watch two of the animated Monster High movies. These were... I'm sorry, I have to look at it. I don't remember their names. Sorry, Morgan. These were Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love and Friday Night Frights. They're two simple enough movies. They're cute. They're like 45 minutes. I can see where for children they would be entertaining enough. You know, Morgan showed me these because we've reacted to the live action ones on this channel, and so I had to see where it all began. They're cute enough. It was interesting to see, you know, kind of what Monster High is supposed to be versus like what the live action movies we've been watching have been. And all it got me thinking about is I really hope they have Monster High 3 ready for this Halloween. And then, like I said, we road trip together and we saw Madam Web. And if you don't know, this is the newest addition to the Spunk. I know they don't call it that anymore, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters. Now they call it the SSU, Sony Spider-Man Universe. But Spunk is so much funnier. So, Madam Web is a character from the comics, which she has a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not terribly knowledgeable of her. What I know of her is from the animated series, where she's kind of like the spider goddess, can see all of time and multiverse and whatnot. And so, yeah, they kind of do that here. You've got Dakota Johnson playing Cassandra Webb, aka Madam Web. And this movie is bad. It's so terrible. I'm not the first person to tell you this. You've probably seen it, you've heard it, you've watched the movie for yourself. Don't go see this in theaters. Wait for it to come to digital. Like, this is a perfect, almost Netflix movie. Sony movies come to Netflix when they hit streaming, so maybe watch this one on Netflix when it hits that service later this year. Yeah, just bad ADR, bad storytelling. Oh, just everything that could have been wrong with this movie was bad editing, bad cinematography. It's fascinating, honestly. I want to know, like, what happened. What made this movie so bad? And it sometimes ventures into the so bad that it's funny, but it's also just kind of boring. Like, I don't know. Sony, why do we keep making these? And then, on this channel, my friends and I watched A Knight's Tale. This is my friend Taylor's favorite movie, and so I decided to sit down and watch it, and I had it recording in the background while we watched along, and it became a commentary that's on this channel now. This is a story of a young man who wants to be a knight, and so he pretends to be a noble, and he's in all these jousting competitions, and things like that, you know, to win the maiden's hand and win the king's tournament, whatever it is. I don't remember exact wording from the movie. But yeah, it's a comedy. It's funny. It is anachronistic. Like, it's not supposed to be historically accurate. There are, you know, modern day gags in the movie that are actually really fun. I had a good time at that. Check out our reaction. And yeah, like I said, not a lot of movies watched this month, as my last movie I watched was Dune Part 1. 2021's Dune. I, of course, rewatched this to then go see Dune Part 2. What's there to say about Dune that hasn't already been said? This movie, it's kind of the opposite of how I talked about how Madam Web is one of the worst movies ever. Dune is one of the greatest movies out there right now. You've got great cinematography, great special effects, great score, great acting, Great story. Like, it is a part one, so it is a little held back by you don't get the full resolution. But of course, we do have part two out now. This is a story of the Atreides family. It's Space Game of Thrones. The Atreides family is sent to Arrakis, and a whole bunch of espionage and sabotage and everything happens. And next thing you know, the galaxy's at war. Dune Part 1 is now streaming on Max. If you want to check it out, I really recommend it. Go check that out and then go see Part 2 as soon as you can. Moving on to TV shows that I watched this month. The first TV show, I watched a decent amount of TV this month. The first TV show I watched was Has Been Hotel. This is an animated series based off of a pilot from a YouTube creator known as VivziePop, picked up by AMC and A24 into a full 8-episode season. I really like this show. It's a musical series. I actually did a tier list last month on the songs in that show as last month's tier list. Go check that out if you're curious. This show is about Charlie, the daughter of Lucifer, Princess of Hell, as she tries to save her people from extermination, in which heaven comes down once a year to kill, population control, hell. Keep the population down. They kill the residents of hell, the damned souls, all that. And so Charlie creates the Has Been Hotel, which is meant to rehabilitate and send sinners up to heaven. It's a really funny show. It's a really quick watch. They're like 20-minute episodes, and there's only 8 of them, so give that a look on Amazon Prime Video if you've got the chance. Then, over on YouTube, I watched all of helluvaboss. This is a spin-off of Has Been Hotel that actually came out first, but, independently produced. It's the awkward scheduling of it. This is a story about a group of imps who start a hitman business in which they'll go up to Earth and kill someone who might have wronged you while you were living. This show is also really fun. It's also a musical. It currently has 2 seasons. Season 2 is still airing. Those episodes roll out a lot slower because they're independently produced. So season 2 is about halfway done right now. It's another quick watch. Season 1, the episodes are really short. They're like 15 to 18 minutes-ish. Like, you can breeze through those. And then season 2, they get longer, 20 to 30-minute episodes. And then, when it came to TV, and on this channel, we had February. This was an event created by myself and my friends Sienna, Phil, and Morgan, where we attempted to watch all of the DC Scooby-Doo crossovers. We got through all of the TV episodes, but then scheduling conflicts happened and we didn't get to the movies. We might do those in March, or we might just wait till next February. We'll have to see about scheduling those. So that include things like 2 episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies, 3 episodes of Scooby-Doo and Guess Who. That's a newer series where each episode has a guest star. So we watched the episodes that had Batman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. Then there is a Teen Titans Go episode that's not very good, where it's the Scooby Gang and the Teen Titans play a game of Family Feud. And then finally, we watched the last segment of a Batman Brave and the Bold episode where Batmite transports them back to, back to the new Scooby-Doo movies. And where it's the 70s again. And those are all fun. Those reactions are on the channel. Check those out if you haven't. All of those episodes of Scooby-Doo are streaming on either Max or Tubi. So go check those out if you're at all curious about those DC Scooby-Doo crossovers. And then the last thing I watched on TV this month was I revisited The Bad Batch Season 2. So I have a love-hate relationship with The Bad Batch. I think I don't love it as much as others. Like, it's admittedly not a bad show, but it does have its slogs at times. So, I never finished Season 2, like last year or whenever it was airing. So, because of Season 3, I saw the Season 3 trailer, and I saw some of the things they showed in there. I won't spoil here. So, I did immediately want to catch up. This is the show following Clone Force 99, if you're not familiar with them, the experimental clones. And basically, their fight against the Empire. And yeah, out of Season 2, I think I like how it starts. I think it meanders a lot. The mid-season two-parter is really good. Then it meanders again, and then like the last 4 episodes are good. Like, I think it's an awkwardly constructed season with maybe a few too many episodes. I am going to start watching season 3 now, and let's hope it's a little more consistent in quality. When it came to reading, I actually did a lot of reading this month. So I finally jumped in and I read all of Deceased. This is the DC Comics zombie book, like Marvel Zombies, where Cyborg is infected with the anti-life equation, and through Darkseid's tinkering, it becomes a zombie virus that's spread through technology. So for our modern day society, we were screwed. And it's a huge, long, elaborate story that I really liked a lot. It's got a lot of neat twists, and I'm glad they did those new and unique twists, because it could be very easy to just fall into they're zombies. They eat brains. But no, these zombies do kind of at least retain the powers of the people they infect. I'm not naming who actually gets infected or who does or doesn't. I'm just going to use Superman, because everybody knows Superman's powers. So if Superman were to become infected, now you have a zombie that has, heat vision, ice breath, super strength, can fly at the speed of light, things like that. And so it gets really interesting with the power dynamics of the zombies and the way those are utilized and adapted, especially with certain characters' powers. So the whole run is told over 5 volumes, 5 different series, that being Deceased, Deceased Unkillables. Deceased is the original one where we kind of follow the Justice League's perspective on it. Then we have Deceased Unkillables. This follows the villains. Kind of think the Suicide Squad for zombies. I really liked that one. That one was maybe my favorite of them all. Just to see how those villains who would normally be so bad, you can see where in this scenario, End of Days, they have no choice but to be good. Then you have Deceased Hope at World's End. This is kind of a anthology little mini series, like this is the shortest of the 3 books. And it was interesting enough. And then you have Deceased Dead Planet, and this one is like the true sequel to that first book, just Deceased. And in this one, you have your heroes searching for a cure that they didn't know might possibly exist. And so now they grapple with that reality and kind of the choice of, do you cure everyone or do you just continue to live? How does the world go back to being the way it was? And the last one that is the finale of Deceased is Deceased War of the Undead Gods. And as the name implies, this is what if the virus, the infection, went on to the new gods and the old gods. And it's a big, huge, it blows the story up pretty big. I like it enough. Like I said, I think my favorites of the whole one were the original Deceased and then the Unkillables. That's the villains one. But overall, I was really caught off guard by how hopeful and kind of fun and interesting. I put Deceased off for so many years. It's an old book at this point. I put it off because I was like, I'm too zombied out. I cannot play another zombie game, read another zombie book, watch another zombie movie. No more zombies. But then I saw like a panel of Deceased, or like a page, on one of those TikTok pages where they're like, oh, this is the best thing Batman's ever done, And I was like, wow, that's a really cool art style, and that fight that they posted is really cool. So then I went and read the whole series because I fell in love with it. This one's not really a read, but I put it in because they're kind of an audiobook. Spotify has audio dramas for some DC characters, mainly Batman, Harley Quinn, and the Riddler. So I listened to Batman Unburied. This is one where Batman is trying to catch a serial killer who is harvesting organs of these men and women he has killed. I'm 50-50 on this one. I think I liked it at the beginning, and then I think it kind of loses steam near the end. It's 10, 20 to 30-minute episodes, just depending. So it will take you, 4 hours-ish, 5 hours-ish to listen to the whole thing. And this series has characters like Bruce Wayne, Batman, Barbara Gordon, Alfred, the Killer, who the Killer is voiced by Sam Witwer. I won't spoil who the Killer is. One takeaway I do have is Winston Duke plays Bruce Wayne / Batman. He is M'Baku in the Black Panther movies. You might also recognize him as the dad in Us. Love him. Love that man. His Bruce Wayne is really good, and I actually kind of want to see him return. I know he doesn't return in the sequel to this audio drama because of scheduling conflicts, but I really liked his voice as Batman. And I really liked his voice as Bruce Wayne. His Batman voice, not so much. You see, his Batman voice, he's doing the kind of Christian bit, where is she? The Gravelly, where is she? What have you done? And it's like, oh, I kind of liked his, his Bruce Wayne is very smooth, very cool. And then, so to then hear him, and with his Bruce Wayne, he does still have those kind of detective, smart moments that, again, I like the way his Bruce Wayne is played. But then when he starts doing the Alfred, I need the Batmobile, and it's like, oh man. So, I love Winston Duke as Bruce Wayne. Next time, maybe try something different with the voice. But overall, yeah, if you have Spotify, check out Batman Unburied at some point. Finally, Fernando V Movies Book Club, we read Chainsaw Man, chapters 1 through 16. So this is a manga, Japanese comic book. So this series follows Denji, a teenager who, after a big incident, becomes bound to a devil, a chainsaw devil, and becomes Chainsaw Man. So it is an interesting kind of superpowers show where Denji can transform into this devil form where he is Chainsaw Man. But there are limitations to the powers, and he's joined by this devil hunting team who goes out and kills demons and devils and all sorts of other creatures. And it's a really interesting book. It makes me want to go check out the anime. I probably will watch that in March. You'll see that on that month's video. But yeah. The manga took some getting used to. I have My Hero right here because I physically own My Hero. I read Chainsaw Man on the app. But the thing about manga is that it's backwards. If you can't open the book, the spine's over here. And that's because Japanese is read right to left. It's got the page right here that tells you to go this way. Versus normally you'd read a comic book this way. So that took some getting used to. I got lost a little bit. But overall, an interesting, fun book that I'm excited to potentially continue read. And I definitely want to watch the show. Looking at video games I played this month, I continue to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And yeah, I think I might have fallen a little out of love with the game after the first 2 or 3 weeks. Only because there is still no endgame content. They've announced the Joker release date. That'll be at the end of March. And so right now the game is dead. There's no content. There's no more story to play. There's no side missions. Anything like that. And so here's hoping that when Joker drops, it comes with a ton of content. Then I continue to play Overwatch. The new season started this month. This new season's been a whole mixed bag, They introduced the new passive healing for everyone, as well as the DPS now degrade everyone's health. It definitely made someone like myself, who is a tank main, struggle. And it's taken some getting used to. I've been playing a lot more support in DPS, so I'm curious to see how the devs have announced some patches and some balances coming, so I'm curious to see what the game looks like in the coming weeks. I played some Fortnite for the first time, and I couldn't tell you how long. There's a little highlights video over on Morgan M. Steele's channel. You know, Morgan has become a Fortnite girly now, and she asked me and some friends to play with her, and so I jumped back in for the first time in a while. So go check out that video over on Morgan's channel. And finally, the big game that everybody played in February was Helldivers 2. This is a game where, if you're at all familiar with Starship Troopers, you are Space Marines sent to go liberate the galaxy through controlled democracy. And this game is really fun. You know, it's a live service game, but a good live service game, which really hurts that this and Suicide Squad came out right back to back, because Helldivers is how you should do a live service game. There isn't really a story here, but the gameplay is so engaging and fun that it gets you and your friends into it. And there's constantly new mission types to do, depending on if you're on offense or defense on certain planets, you know, whether you're fighting bugs or robots who are trying to take over the galaxy at that time. It's a really fun game. My friends and I have played it for hours. The Battle Pass is free. There's a base Battle Pass, and then there is a premium one you can pay for. And they are self-replenishing, which I love when games do that. Overwatch doesn't do that. Shame on you, where you have to buy the Battle Pass each season. Versus, in this game, if you buy it once and you finish it, you'll have enough for the next one in March. And so, I can't recommend the Helldivers 2 enough. My friends and I play it for hours on end. And if you don't have any friends, you can always play alone or with randoms. But that's just some of the stuff I checked out in February. Like I said, a bit of an uneventful month compared to others, but that happens. It's the shortest month in the year. Arguably, maybe the least eventful month in the year. So, let me know what you did in the month of February, and if you checked out any of the stuff I did. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when that next one's coming. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.